All right, back. It's been a busy day today. Welcome to my scope. Nice to have you here. I'm just taking a view over Culver City from where I am right now. I'm just going to see if this works. Can you hear me okay over the phone without using earbuds, or do you need me to use earbuds? Give me some feedback here. Oops. There we go. Hi, and welcome. Nice to have you here. Welcome, join the group. Just checking. You can be fine. Thank you, I needed to know that. Awesome, then I can leave these alone. Okay. Hi, and welcome to my Friday Periscope. This is number 14 in a row. This is quite something. My name is Barry Selby. I am known as the Love Doctor, but also my title is I am the Heartbreak Repair Specialist, because I specifically help the ladies, particularly men who seek it, but usually the ladies, heal their hearts so they can attract what they want in a relationship. Right. That's the short version. Thank you for joining me. I am a speaker, a coach, which I hate that term. I'm actually a specialist, it's a better word for that, and an expert about relationships. And I'm also a #1 best-selling author. This is my book. I'm going to show it again because I love promoting it. Now it's on Amazon. You can get it. 50 Ways to Love Your Lover. It's on Amazon. It's a nice thick book. Gives you lots of good content. Good principles about healthy relationships. If you're single or in a couple, this will help you. So go find it on Amazon, look for the cover. You can find it there, and it's cheaper there than it is on my website. So get it from Amazon and get it right away. It's also available in Kindle version, by the way, if you like that sort of thing. So that's the promotion thing out of the way. Hello, how are you? And Elaine's here too. Thank you, sir. And I will talk to you. I did get your message, but I've been jumping straight from Michelle's Skype cast to my Periscope, so I haven't had a chance to do anything yet. So I will definitely message you back. There I am indeed. So thank you for joining me. I love it, the fact you're all here. It's so nice. So today's topic, and by the way, I'm going to put this out as a Periscope tip, because I just did this because I was scrambling from the last call I was on to this, and I didn't know what to talk about. I went to my list. So if you have a smartphone, which you must have to use this app, you're probably going to want, thank you for the hearts, by the way. Thank you. You're probably going to have an app on there, like a notes app. If you scope regularly, or if you're willing to stretch into that, because I'm doing it every day now, this is day 14 out of 30, I'll tell you about that at the end. I got lazy, and I put into my notes app the title, putting into my notes app the title of my Periscope for that day. And what I'm doing is just changing some of the words and then copying and pasting into Periscope, rather than retyping a whole new title every single day that I'm in Periscope. So if you do that, it will save you some time. It also meant, because I've been lazy again, because I like to do things that save me time, is I've got a list below that of different topics I haven't covered yet. So I can just copy and paste pieces together and build myself a title to drop into Periscope to save me time and also give me on point so I know what I'm talking about. Just a tip if you're a Periscope user like I am. Avid Periscope user as I'm becoming. That's a free tip. And again, I mentioned at the end of the group, but if you're not in this Facebook group, you want to join it because there's so much good information being passed around, and I'm kind of a proponent myself, very avid to share the information to help you out. So that's one of the tips. Back to this scope. For those of you who are just joining now, because a lot of people are joining, which I love this, thank you. My name is Barry Selby. I am known as the Love Doctor to my friends, to my clients. Especially, I'm known as the Heartbreak Repair Specialist. I specialize in helping my clients love themselves, heal their hearts, so they attract what they want in a relationship. I'll tell you that at the end, so stay tuned. I've got to give you something out as a carrot at the end, so stay tuned. I'll tell you about that at the end of the scope. And I will remember. I'll say, if I forget, no, I'll remember this. For those who are just joining, quick plug from my book again, 50 Ways to Love Your Lover. Actually, it looks backwards here, so hopefully it'll be the right way around when you see it and when I watch it later. It's a book of various principles for men and women, couples, singles, thank you, that is going to help you if you want to have better relationships in your life. If you're single or couple, male or female, this book is useful. It's entertaining because I tend to speak that way and I write that way too. It's on Amazon as a physical book and Kindle. It's worth getting. It's also #1 bestseller on Amazon, on Kindle rather. So just a plug. Okay, to the topic of tonight. Thank you for joining me and thanks for the hearts. One other thing, Periscope tip, because I loved programming this one for myself. You can give up to 500 hearts during a broadcast. That means tapping the screen for a long time. But if you go over 500, it doesn't make a difference. It only counts 500. So if you know you're tapping 700 times, you can stop. If you want to keep tapping, thank you. I appreciate that because it's fun to build the count. I don't know what it's for, but it's nice to build the heart count just for the entertainment value. I'm just going to move this down because this thing at the top of the screen looks kind of, there we go. Okay, I like framing properly too. So, the topic tonight is about 50-50 sucks. I mentioned, it's funny, the heart stopped when I did that. I love it. This harks back to a conversation I had before, and I mentioned this in one of my previous scopes about the codependent pattern that many of us grew up with, or our parents had. That's the 50-50 thing, and I'm going to talk about the 50-50 meaning of that in a moment. Relationships I love talking about because there's so much we can learn from ourselves, for ourselves, and be ourselves, because our relationships, if you do them the right way, are a growing experience. They're not there for convenience and comfort alone. They're there for joy, celebration, and growth. One of those things is that your relationship partner will tend to be a great mirror for you. And if you don't look in the mirror, you won't want to be in a relationship, because it's going to bring stuff up. The 50-50 paradigm is something where we've been taught, and I mentioned, actually, I may do it tonight, there's enough people on the call, we'll do this, on the scope. For the last 60 plus years, every single love song that I can recall had a message of codependence. If you remember back to, if you can come up with a love song that didn't have that, I'd be interested in you put it in the comments. But any love song on the radio that was out the last 50, 60 years, since the 60s basically, was a codependent title. Whether it was, I think I'm trying to think, most of the Beatles songs had stuff in them that were codependent. But I was going to say one of my favorite songs that I used to love back that way, mainstream music, yes, exactly. There's a lot of inspirational music that's different, but most love songs out there, like, for example, Harry Nilsson did a song back in the 70s, I think it was, called Can't Live If Living Was Without You. That means that if you leave, I'm dead. That's not very healthy. So that's the 50-50 thing I want to talk about. We have been trained by society, by the music industry, and often by our parents, to look for a partner that we think is going to be completing us. There was a book by Shel Silverstein called, it's called The Circle. And the book was about, it was a cartoon, it was a hand-drawn book about this circle looking around which had a hole missing, looking for its piece to complete it. Which is the thing about, oh, you find love when you complete yourself with somebody else. Bullshit! Is that clear enough? I am a firm believer that, well, let me put it this way. If you look in the mirror, do you see half yourself, or do you see all of yourself? I'm presuming that anybody watching this scope will see a whole person. That's the point. You're not 50% of anybody. You're 100% who you are. So if you go into a relationship and you want 50-50 together, sorry, 50-50, and then model that. But a half relationship with half relationship, that means you're going to take some of yourself away from the relationship. How's that going to work? So you're going to put all your unnecessary pieces in a box to stick it in the closet so you can be half present to your partner so they can be half present to you, and the 50-50 makes a whole relationship? No. I mean, I'm laughing because I'm really seeing how ridiculous this is. Who we are whole beings, you know, fully man, fully woman, and I talked about masculine and feminine in a previous scope. I'll do it again next week. So what we bring to the relationship is all of ourselves, our complete beingness. Why would you want to suppress, reduce, or take that part out? When you're in a relationship with your partner, you aren't 50-50, you're 100-100. That's the whole relationship. And the relationship is usually greater than the sum of the parts in the Gestalt languaging. So if you are living fully as yourself and your partner is, your relationship is going to be, one, be a lot healthier, two, it's going to be more supportive of who you are, and three, it's going to be a growing experience because you're not hiding yourself or pretending to be something less than you are. And frankly, it's sad to watch people in relationships pretending to be something they're not. None of you have done that, I'm sure. I'll own up, I have. I pretended to be something I wasn't and less than I was for the sake of what I thought my partner wanted. And that's what we get programmed into, thinking we must please our partner at the expense of ourselves. Don't do it. Clear? This is the point about this work. Relationship is about expanding your framework, creating your comfort zone bigger than it was before. And I'm mentioning some things along the way that I've talked about in previous scopes, and I'll mention the link to go watch those if you want to later on, because I'm not going to touch on all this stuff, but I want to bring you into this present topic. Some part of this is going to stretch you, and I mentioned in a previous scope about the comfort zone. And truth is that people say, you know, what you want, if this is your comfort zone, what you want is outside your comfort zone. Well, yes, it is, but it's not the uncomfortable zone. This out here, in my vernacular, is the magic zone. So if you want to have magical relationships, get outside your comfort zone and enjoy the magic of life and of love and of relationship. That's where the fun is. So a key piece of this thing about 50-50 is that we forget who we are. And we get caught up in this paradigm. We're trying to please somebody else so that we feel better. There's a great book which I highly recommend, not mine. Well, I do recommend my book, but I recommend highly. It was written about 20 years ago. There's a book by Gay and Katie Hendricks called Conscious Loving. That book came out in the 90s, I think. I read it when I was at grad school. And in fact, I'm going to be on a telesummit week after next with her and a bunch of other people too, with Katie, the wife of the partnership. That book, Conscious Loving, breaks down the model of codependence and the keys to refining a way out of it. And there's some great principles in that book, so recommend go getting it online or reading it. Conscious Loving by Gay and Kathleen Hendricks. Great book. So codependence. Thank you. On which? Tell me that in a moment, I'll keep going. The challenge is that we think that we need to please somebody else to be okay. And that's something we may have been raised with by a family, because it's kind of like, be nice, and if you're going to not say something nice, don't say anything at all. That'd be invisible. So we take that into our relationships. It's really not fun, and it hurts. Oh, thank you. I was totally off track. I just dropped that in thinking, oh yeah, no big deal. Yeah, it's been a really good year, and this one's going to have, since I'm on the subject, John Gray, Alison Armstrong, Katie Hendricks, Ariel Ford are the 4 main headliners, and I'm like the second tier behind them, but we're on the same page, so I get to play with some big players who have been my teachers, my mentors, my idols in a way in this business, so it's kind of cool. Thank you for the hearts. So, back to this thing, so you get really nuts and bolts on the 50-50 part. Keys. Don't change who you are when you're in a relationship. So many people pretend to be something they're not on Tinder or on Match.com to think that we can be somebody we're not, and it's not true. If you pretend and put a persona on of who you're going to be when you meet somebody, when you meet them, you've got to hold up that persona. How long can you keep holding that thing up without getting tired? At some point in time, the walls are going to come down, and that's when they find out who you really are. So why not cut to the chase and show them up front who you are, so you can get what you want then? Because if they don't want you, or they don't like who you really are, is that who you want to be with? I mean, this is kind of nuts and bolts, and I want to make this common sense level so you get how important this is to know the truth for yourself. Get clear about what you want, and get clear about what you won't settle for in yourself in relationship. Because let me say it for myself, because I don't want to presume about you. In my own life, I did kind of pretzel myself into past relationships. And being a pretzel in a relationship isn't fun, even with salt. So get yourself into a healthy relationship by choosing to be healthy yourself. And when I talk about 100 relationships, I use a language of the masculine and feminine because I've been learning that from other teachers, including Alison Armstrong, and also including David Davis, one of my favorite teachers. He's got another book out, which I highly recommend as well, in my book. In that, he talks about the masculine and feminine polarity. Thank you for reminding your followers, I appreciate that. He talks about the masculine and feminine polarity because we are not we're not one or the other completely, but also we pretend we're something we're not. And one of the teachers I work with talks about how we put on layers to pretend we're something we're not. So for women particularly, if they grew up as a beautiful, budding, feminine kid at like 2 or 3 years old, because that's who they are, but at 5 they had to deal with their brothers or with the boys they hang out with, they become a tomboy, they put on a masculine shell to protect themselves and to fit in. And then what happens is they put on another layer after that when they go to high school, because they're flirting with the boys. And after that, putting on a different one when they graduate from school and they go out to work. So we as individuals put on these layers, both men and women do this, to adjust to the environment we're in. Meanwhile, inside all these layers is who we really are. You don't have to be single forever, and I can help you with that if that's something you want. But if you want to be single, that's okay. That's one thing I'll teach, by the way. You've got to be happy with who you are on your own first before you can have a healthy relationship. So yes, being single at least until you love who you are enough that you won't settle for less than you deserve. That's a wise choice. So we inside are authentically masculine or feminine, natural polarity. Some people are not. Some people are a mix of both. Some people are a 50-50 balance, which is basically androgynous. But most of us carry a percentage of masculine and feminine adds up to 100% of who we are, like back to the 100% again. So I know in my own polarity, when I really got clear about my natural balance, I'm running around the world roughly around a 70-75% masculine, about 20-25% feminine. That's about my natural state, and I do shift into the feminine when I'm like around a baby or around like taking care of somebody as a client. Good idea. Don't ever settle. But I can show you what you want because I have a program designed to help you create a vision of what you want. There's an 8-step process to attracting and mating relationships, but I'll tell you about that at the end because I'm not marketing here. I'm just talking about these teachings. Patience, please. I'm telling myself that. So tempting to jump in. So we have a masculine and feminine energies that shifts as we go through life. But remembering who we naturally reside in and also finding a reciprocal. This is the thing. Thank you for the hearts again. Being a masculine man with a feminine essence as well, I tend to attract and be attracted to women who are more feminine with a smaller masculine percentage. That wasn't how it used to be. I spent 3 relationships doing it the wrong way around because I was thinking that to help them, I needed to defer to their masculine energy because they seemed to be so bossy and strong, which I had to like at the time. So these women were taking charge and I was solely there like, of course, whatever you want type thing, which they would love for about 3 months. And then it would wear off. Because I wasn't taking charge, I wasn't leading the way, I wasn't being the man in the relationship. Now the languaging of how I explained didn't help at the time, but it led me to the work I'm doing now. That's totally off subject, but I didn't know that, no. But if you want to follow this scope, please talk, but if you keep posting other things, it won't be relevant to what I'm talking about, but thank you for that interesting insight to something I'm not even talking about, unless you haven't related to the masculine and feminine polarity of relationship. So back to the topic. This is the thing about Periscope, remembering where you are. I love this. So, in that languaging of those past 3 relationships, I got off track. And thankfully, because I had a deep-seated need, prayer, desire to learn what was going on, I found some teachers that led me to where I'm going now, what I do now. Masculine and feminine polarity is a key piece of the puzzle of relationship. If you're straight or gay, this works in both preferences, because it's the sexual polarity of masculine and feminine that creates the attraction, the chemistry for a relationship. So a gay relationship's the same way as a straight relationship because there's no difference. There's a masculine and feminine polarity. It's not gender-based. That is creating the attraction. Because men and women can carry both energies to a different degree depending on who they are, authentically. So when you are 100% yourself, you have a certain percentage of masculine, a certain percentage of feminine that's natural for you. Very few people are 100% one or 100% the other because that's usually, to be honest, almost a psychological dysfunction. We carry both naturally. And again, we shift back and forward when we're in relationship and when we're in life. So if we're driving a car, we're usually in the masculine energy because we're directional, we're going somewhere. Women or men in the driver's seat tend to be in the masculine at that moment. But around a baby, or when I'm coaching with clients, especially when I'm counseling them, because I do spiritual counseling too, then I'm more in the feminine because I'm holding the space and the loving for them, and I may be just nurturing their energy. Stop creating relationships, you will remain single forever. Oh, it's okay. So, this work I love because it transforms people's lives, and what it does is it softens them into their natural state. Well, the women, let me talk to that, because I work with women more than men. Men usually get back to their truth and their strength. That's what I had to go through myself 7, 8 years ago now. I'm grateful for that. Almost out of that stage. I've been single for a while because I had to get my work done. One of the things I talk about in my book and in my work is that as a masculine man, first order of business is know why you're here. For a masculine man, it's important to get clear about your work because we as men in masculine are linear, sequential beings. We have strength in that ability to be directional and clarity in where we're going. If you don't know why you're here, and I proved it that way for many years, you're drifting. And if you don't have a clarity about what your reason for being is, you won't necessarily be in your masculine. And for me, what I learned is because we are sequential, it's better to do one thing at a time. So for me, getting my work clear, getting my book published, getting my coaching business strong, and building my audience is priority. Now I'm at the place where a relationship can work for me because I've got this so solid in my DNA and in my life. Yeah, that's why. It's so solid in DNA in my life that I can have a relationship but I won't get derailed because I know who I've been. I've been through 9 careers because I didn't know why I was here. And I drifted from career to career, and my relationship sucked because of that. And not being clear about why I'm here was a detriment to my relationships. So I learned from my own experience and what my teachers have said as well, and from the books I've read, and I know it from experience, that if you want a healthy relationship, no, I'm not avoiding anything, actually. I'm actually very clear about what I want. In fact, that's why I say I'm almost out of being single, because I'm building that with somebody right now. That may be the one, we'll see. Because the other opportunity I have with this work is that I'm not going to have somebody as a case study in my relationship. I've become such a student of this work that I must be with somebody who's done work as well. There's no point otherwise, because we're going to grow together. Thank you for that. This is the point about this work. It's not for the faint of heart. And I am not a regular guy in that sense. I'm becoming a teacher of this because others can learn how to be more autonomous, more healthy, and more loving in their relationships. So that's kind of the one to the 50-50 about being 100% present. I've covered all the top key points, and I probably put out too fast. Hopefully you understood most of that. I got into a bit of a rant in the middle of that. So let me just... Absolutely. I know many people who are married who have very dysfunctional relationships. They can't teach a thing. So it's not about being single or being married. It's about being authentic in what you teach. So I'm passionate about my work. And that's why I do what I do. Speaking of which, 3 things, I think. Yes. First of all, I am offering, at this point in time, a discovery session for those people who want to find out more about what I do, and if they have what it takes and what they need to do to get where they want to go. I'm there to help people. Thank you. I appreciate that, Aline. On the same page. So, if you want to find out more about me, as I said at the beginning of this, my website is offline this week. It's having some upgrades, and I had made some mistakes I've got to fix. I'm doing it myself, which is not smart. That's another lesson, by the way, for another time. Just send me an email. Just barry@barryselby.com, or just send me a direct message over Twitter. I will get back to you with a link to a discovery session, so you can sign up for that for free. Second thing is, I mentioned earlier in the scope, somebody mentioned about asking about help or didn't know about how to date and find a relationship. I created a program for the women. It's an 8-step program called the Dating Advantage. It will take you through an online program that will get you from A to Z to create what you want. Yes, I am. Right now, in this moment, as I do this scope. But I could change in about 2 weeks. Mystery stuff. That's the second thing. Third thing, if you are a Periscope user or a Periscope watcher, I have. Healing myself is not about being in a relationship. Healing myself is loving who I am, so I don't have that baggage on the past. That's a whole other piece of the conversation that I talked about last week in my scope. So that's the fourth thing I'll do. Third thing, if you're a scoper, if you don't know about using this site called catch.me, learn about it. If you do periscopes and you want to save them outside the 24 hours, catch with a K, K-A-T-C-H.me, is a site you can link to through Twitter that basically backs up your scopes automatically every day. In my case, at catch.me/barryselby, you'll see all my scopes from 2 weeks ago. It's been 2 weeks of these now, so you can find them there. Fourth thing, if you are a Periscope user and you want to learn some tips to do this, it's katch.me. That's the website, sorry. Yeah, like catching a ball, or actually catching the scope, with a K.me/ and then your username. In my case, Barry Selby. Good to have, so you can use that. Fourth thing was, if you are a Periscope user and you want to get involved in our 30-day Periscope challenge, exactly, perfect, thank you. If you want to get involved in the Periscope challenge, my friend Michelle Whiteheart is a friend of mine, and she started this thing, and I wasn't planning on doing it, but I jumped right in because it's so much fun, and it's a great place to connect with people and resource and learn how to do it better yourself. I've become the tech guru in that Facebook group without even trying, because I just had ideas and I learned some stuff. And I love helping other people get better at Periscope, because, to be honest, there are people using Periscope to get famous. Like, look at me walking down the street, look at me drinking my latte. I don't want to watch people like that. I want people who have content, who have valuable things I can learn from to use in my day, because I don't want to spend 12 hours watching a video that has no meaning. There's television for that. So Periscope is a medium, I believe, is a teaching avenue for many of us to learn things from each other and share good news. Because we need to create our own media format. Ooh, just an idea. I'm going to write that one down. Media through Periscope will be a whole new thing, because we do live events, this could be fun. Okay, I'm going to mention that somewhere else. Anyway, we have a Facebook group started by Michelle Whiteheart, and if you want to get involved in this Periscope commitment for 30 days, the focus is basically, if you haven't done a broadcast yet, it's time to pop your Periscope cherry, as she puts it, which I love, it's great. Or Peri-cherry, I think we call it. If you go to Michelle Whiteheart, that's HART.com/Periscope, you can join her list and get involved in the Periscope. Mention it was me that signed you up, because I want to at least keep connected with you so I can find out who did. It's a great place to play. There's about 150 of us in that group, I think, now. And we're reconnecting and building friendships. So if you want to learn more about Periscope and using it, join us in that group as well. And if you just got on the scopes, there's a lot of people who just joined, please go back and watch it from the beginning, because there was some good content in here. Hopefully you'll find it so. And I got to promote some things. And again, if you want to find out more about me, you can send me an email or do a direct message over Twitter, remember which app I'm in, barry@barryselby.com. and I will be doing another post. I'm doing these at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific time is my current focus, and 5 days a week at least, sometimes 6, I do that at that time. But if not, just make sure you keep me on your list so when you see me post, come join me. All right? Thank you for the hearts, and please watch the replay. And remember, you can do 500 hearts at a time in the replay or in the live app, and you can opt out and come back and do it again. So just say, if you want to give me lots of hearts, feel free. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here, and I'm signing off for today. I've got some ideas that just came up through that scope I need to write down. So enjoy your evening. It's Friday night. Go have some fun. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. Here in LA or in California, sorry, in America, it's Labor Day this weekend. So if you have a 3-day weekend ahead, enjoy every day of it. I'm scoping every day because it's fun. Take care of yourselves. I will see you